It is, this is a great day, I believe, in the state of Louisiana, a day where we really announce, I think, a very important commitment, a commitment that I don't believe has ever been made to this degree to education, to the citizens of this state, in ensuring that every person who attends a community or technical college will have guaranteed to them the ability to gain the knowledge, skills, and ability to leave there and be successful day one. And earlier today, at our board meeting, the Board of Supervisors for the Louisiana Community and Technical College System approved a day one guarantee, not for our system, but for the people of this state. And let me read it to you because I think it's important. And as I read it, I'm looking forward here to asking the governor to come up. I have to tell you, wasn't our idea. I'm almost embarrassed to say it. Good ideas come from all sources and types of sources. This one came from Governor Bobby Jindal, was a key component of his campaign. Now, Governor, I've told people all over the state, I wish I'd thought of this. It makes sense, and it's the right thing to do, and it's the right time to do it. And this guarantee reads, if one of our graduates educated under a standard program or his or her employer finds that, if one of our graduates educated under a standard program or his or her employer finds the graduate is deficient in one or more competencies as defined in the standards, the community or technical college will retrain the employee at no cost to the graduate or to the employer, and might I add, to the state of Louisiana. We're committed to making this as part of our commitment to ensuring everyone that we're going to provide the types of workforces needed. When Governor Jindal was elected, he took on some big challenges in the state, and we've read and followed with admiration what he's done to tackle the ethics issues and to transform the state in this area. He took on significant budget issues that relate to taxes and how we invest dollars in infrastructure in this state. And what, of course, grabbed my attention right away was his commitment to workforce priority and making this a priority of his administration, particularly this legislative session. And there's been some landmark legislation that has been passed. I won't comment on those because we've got those here that will speak later that are so much more knowledgeable of this. But Governor, you're changing the state. You're changing the lives of people in this state. You're improving opportunity so that in areas where we've not had the workforce, in the future, that's going to change. We're going to be competitive in areas where we haven't been competitive before. We're going to have people with the knowledge, skills, and ability to go to work, that if they're educated in this state, they can stay in this state and achieve their dreams and objectives. And it's a pleasure to introduce the real force and author and person behind the Day One Guarantee, the Governor of the state of Louisiana, the Honorable Bobby Jindal.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all please be seated. It feels like we're in Catholic Church, getting up, getting down. There's no reason to stay stand up the entire time. If you stay standing, that means I can't talk nearly as long as I want to. So y'all get comfortable. No, I'm not going to be long, but I do want to first of all commend the board for adopting this very, very important policy. Many of you have heard me say that during this session, we're now in a regular session. You remember, we've had two special sessions. The first one to declare war on corruption, to pass some of the nation's toughest ethics laws. The second one to repeal some taxes that were holding our businesses back and invest in our roads, our ports, and our infrastructure. In this third session, I've said our administration's top priority is workforce development. Now, we outlined a fairly aggressive agenda, starting with and including many things, for example, revamping the Department of Labor to put employers and regional workforce boards more in charge of workforce training programs, changing the way that we do training throughout the entire state so we truly have one-stop shops where people can go and get not only training and find out about opportunities, but find out about child care and transportation and other services. But a critical part of making our state's workforce training programs second to none involves the community and technical college system. And to understand why, I want to talk about three specific changes that we're making, but to understand why this system is so important, you have to step back and realize we've got a training gap right now in the state of Louisiana. We've got a 30-year unemployment lows right now, 30-year unemployment lows in terms of our unemployment rate in Louisiana. We've got 100,000 jobs that are vacant today in Louisiana. At the same time, we're losing thousands, tens of thousands of our people that move out of the state faster than they're moving in. Even before the storms of 2005, we were losing 30,000 people a year moving out faster than they were moving in. Well, why is that? Why is that when you talk to our employers, 70% will tell you that their number one challenge is finding skilled workers? Why is it the vast majority of prospects we recruit to come to Louisiana tell us their number one challenge, number one concern, their number one issue before they come to Louisiana is the ability to attract and to keep a skilled workforce? The reason is that we are not doing, the state is not doing all that it can do to train our people to fill those jobs. That's why it's so important in this session to change the way that we train our people. Now, there is some good news. There is some good news. We're building on the success of those that came before us. Right now, we're right here at the Baton Rouge Community College. We're in a system that historically, for the last few years, has been one of the fastest growing systems in the entire country. And that's very, very impressive. Historically and routinely, we've had some of the fastest growing community colleges, as well as some very rapidly growing technical campuses as well. And that's all very good. Indeed, as I came here, one of your officials said, "I just want to thank you." I said, "What do you want to thank me for?" And I said, "Is it the $10 million at the Rapid Response Fund or some of the funding?" He goes, No, I want to thank you for mentioning us on the Jay Leno show. That was great." And so, and it's true, we did plug the Baton Rouge Community College on the... But it's not just Baton Rouge Community College is very important, a very good success story, but there are many colleges and many schools, whether it's BIPC, whether it's Delgado, whether it's our technical campuses, all of our institutions that are playing a critical role in training our students for the jobs that are so plentiful, the good-paying jobs, jobs with benefits that are here that we're working to bring to our state. Some of you have heard me before say here is one way of looking at the imbalance. In California, 80% of their high school students that continue their education start in a technical or community college system. In Louisiana, historically, we've been closer to 20 to 25%. And you've heard me say before, I think it is great when students go to college. I want every student that wants to go to college, that's ready to go to a four-year school, to take the honors courses, the AP courses, and have every opportunity to go. That's why we fully funded TOPS and GO grants and other programs like that in our budget. That's why we propose funding in our budget to fund the universities at the Southern average. We think that's a great thing. Indeed, the reason I was born and raised in Louisiana is my mom came here to study at LSU. But we also know, experience teaches us that not every student is going to a four-year school. Not every student is going to continue their education after high school in a university. And we need to do more to provide training opportunities for all of our students, so they're not dropping out before they finish high school, so they do see a connection between their education and the employment opportunities and their futures. And that is why we've also proposed dual enrollment programs and other programs to keep our children in school, keep our students in school so they're not dropping out. Critical to this is the success of the community and technical college system. We proposed 3 policy changes that are now in place, that are now happening. The first, it was changing the funding formula so that our community and technical schools have the funds to meet rapidly growing demand. So they have the funds to provide training in high demand, especially high cost program areas. Many of the chancellors know, many of you that work in the system know that the irony is, even as employers are demanding more welders, more nurses, more computer technicians, more P-Tech operators, and on and on and on down the list, many of our campuses are actually losing money when they try to train those graduates, which is completely backwards from the state's perspective. We should be encouraging, not discouraging, investment of in these rapid growth, high demand, high cost program areas. Last week, both the House and the Senate passed resolutions encouraging a change in the funding formula so that the institutions won't be punished, rather would be encouraged for filling that demand. I want to commend your Commissioner of Higher Education. Even before the legislature passed those resolutions, the Board of Regents committed to making those policy changes. Let's give them a round of applause for that commitment. The second policy change that's happening, we know the community and technical college system are creating regional centers of excellence. Maybe you saw ConocoPhillips donated $2 million to Suella to create an energy production center of excellence where they can train the workers that are so desperately needed in that industry, not only for ConocoPhillips, but other employers in Southwest Louisiana. That's the role model. That's what we need to see happen throughout the state, these centers of excellence, so employers know they can go get their P-Tech operators, their nurses, their welders, the employees they need. You know, the day we announced some of these workforce development initiatives. It was so exciting to see the AFL-CIO, to see lobby, to see Democrats, Republicans stand up and endorse this concept. But it was especially exciting to see folks like Northrop Grumman stand up and say, we'll hire 1,000 new people in Louisiana today. We'll hire 1,000 new people in Louisiana today if we can find the skilled workers. Here's a company that's already here, already has a manufacturing presence, already made an investment in our state, saying we want to expand here, we want to grow here, good paying jobs, jobs with benefits. The third change, and the change that the Chancellor has already spoken to today, which is so important, is this day one job guarantee. And the concept behind this is pretty simple. We're basically saying to our students, we're basically saying to our employers, we are so confident in the instruction that's happening in our campuses and our institutions that we guarantee you'll be ready to work on that first day, or we'll retrain you for free. And what that does is it sends a loud message to companies in Louisiana and across the country and across the world. We want you in Louisiana. We're getting rid of the taxes on debt, new equipment, utilities. We're reforming our ethics laws, and now we're working hard to provide you with a skilled workforce. We want to make this the best place in the world for you to invest, to expand, to create good-paying jobs for our people. But it also requires our institutions to work very closely, as they are doing, to develop these standards and working closely with employers. And you know, the premise behind this, I remember when I was at the University of Louisiana system, our campuses started and soon our system encouraged the adoption of a teacher warranty, the teacher guarantee. And the idea behind that was our College of Education were producing new teachers, many of whom were leaving the classrooms. After going and starting to teach in Louisiana's classrooms, many of the students came back and told us, superintendents were telling us, we've got a very, very bad retention problem. We're losing, in Louisiana and many states, we're losing 50% of our new College of Education graduates 5 years after they graduate. They're no longer teaching in Louisiana's public schools. Some of them never entered the workforce, some of them left the workforce, some of them moved out of the state for a variety of reasons. And when we surveyed them, they all told us one thing. The number one thing on their list, there were several things, the number one thing on their list was the environment in the classroom didn't match, wasn't what they expected when they went through their educational programs. Now, we did a couple of things to address that. We've got a Teacher's Bill of Rights in this session, because Louisiana ranks second worst in the country when it comes to discipline in our classrooms, but it also taught us that we needed to retool our College of Education programs so that our student teachers were better prepared for the real-life, real-world environment before they got to those schools. And we offered a teacher warranty program that basically said to superintendents, that basically said to those new teachers, if you feel like you need any additional assistance, after you graduate, you go in the classroom, if you feel like you need additional support, additional training, if the colleges of education didn't give you what you needed to succeed in the first place, come back and we'll do it for free. And it allowed our colleges of education to work more closely with local school boards to make sure they were getting the trained teachers they needed. That's the same concept that will now be applied throughout the entire community and technical college system for these programs that have been identified where the standards have been developed with industry. Let's give the board a round of applause. They approved that unanimously this morning. I'll close with two final thoughts, and one is this. The reason I say this is the most important thing we can do this session, and there are a lot of important things we're working on in the legislature, don't get me wrong, but the reason that I think this is the most important thing we can do is that if we are serious about improving our quality of life for our people, for Louisiana's families, if we're serious about stopping the outmigration of our sons and daughters, serious about improving not only earning power but health outcomes and decreasing crime rates, it starts with giving our people better education and better economic opportunities. Now, we're not a poor state. We're a wealthy state. Now we've got the opportunity to provide the leadership so that our people are getting the very best training so that they can find good-paying, high-paying jobs with benefits right here in Louisiana. Let's send the message to the country that this is the best place in the world to do business. We've gotten rid of the burdensome taxes, reformed our ethics laws, now let's provide the skilled workers. And the final thing I'll say, I've been given the privilege of giving many graduation speeches the last couple of weeks. Tonight I'll be speaking at my alma mater, where I graduated from high school about 20 years ago. And one of the things I'm going to tell those students is pursue your dreams right here in Louisiana. It's a great world out there, and I encourage people to go and explore it. Come back to Louisiana, and I tell them this, and I'll tell them this tonight. You know, my mom made it simple. She said, I love you, but if I could have had those grandchildren without having you, you wouldn't be here today. For far too long, we've lost our greatest assets, our sons and daughters. Today's action by the board is one more step, along with those other policy changes, to make sure we don't have to continue to export our sons and daughters to other states for them to pursue their opportunities. Thank you for the hard work you do every day to prepare our people for these great careers right here in Louisiana. Thank y'all very much.
Governor, thank you so much. And just to emphasize, this is not lip service. We're printing thousands of these documents. We're sending to employers and people around the state. Every college catalog will have a copy of this guarantee printed in it. Every class schedule that we produce across the state, emphasizing. One of the things I discovered, and it's just common sense, when people say, well, higher ed needs to be accountable. I can't think of a greater accountability than to saying we guarantee our graduates. And so I'm proud of the work of this board. And certainly I want to introduce the chair of the board at this time, who has been a part of this system since its founding in 1999, a founding board member, current chair from Lafayette, Brett Melly. Brett.
Governor Jindal, we just want to thank you for your support. We feel like you get it. We're getting to where we need to be. We've been working very hard since 1999. We've got the highest enrollment we've ever had. We know we need a much higher enrollment. We're going to work very hard at that with your support. I want to have our board members stand, raise your hands, so that you'll know who all of those people are. If you guys could stand up, our board members, the LCTCS board members. These are the people that approved this guarantee, unanimously, by the way. We're very excited about the opportunity and the responsibility that we have to provide the state of Louisiana trained workforce that we know it deserves. And we're going to work very hard to live up to this guarantee. We're going to work very hard to make sure that we can meet those needs of the workforce in our state. So we thank you again. You're looking at all, many of our staff members out there that are going to be working with this guarantee and helping to make this come to pass. So we thank you very much.
One of the great challenges of growing the economy is being able to say that we have the workforce in place, and certainly a person that has taken great leadership, and I've already seen an exciting activity regarding economic development, is the Secretary of Economic Development for the state of Louisiana, Ms. Stephen Moray. And I'm going to ask Stephen if he'd come forward.
Thank you, Joe. With ethics reform accomplished, with unorthodox business taxes largely eliminated in the state, this remains the top issue facing most business people in Louisiana. The challenge of finding quality labor is the #1 challenge facing business in our state. That's why today is such an important milestone. It's why the governor's workforce development reform plan is such an important step forward for the state of Louisiana. This is a change. The changes that are happening today, that are happening in this session, are going to result in more jobs being created in our state, more companies choosing to stay in Louisiana, to expand in Louisiana, more companies choosing to come to Louisiana to create more opportunity in our state. From the moment that we began, one of the things the governor asked us to do, he said, look, if this is going to be successful, it has to be an effort that is a coordinated, collaborative effort across all the major entities that are involved in workforce development. Our Commissioner of Higher Education, our Secretary of Labor, Department of Economic Development, the leadership of the Community Technical College System, all of us have worked together very closely to get to this point. We're going to continue to work together closely to take it to the next level. One of the folks that I wanted to thank today is Dr. May, who's been such a great leader, and really there's no one who's going to be more important as our workforce development plans are implemented over the next couple of years in leading economic development and workforce development efforts over the next couple of years. We wish you good luck, Dr. May. Thank you for everything you've done to this point. We look forward to continuing to be a partner with you in the future. Thank you.
Secretary, thank you. Shortly after the election, there was appointment of a new Secretary of Labor. Prior to assuming the role, we were able to meet and begin talking about this very issue. And I'll tell you, during that time, I've become so impressed with the leadership of Tim Barfield as the Department of Labor has changed, providing leadership in this area to ensure that the workforce is in place to meet the needs of the future. And it's my pleasure to welcome today Secretary of Labor Tim Barfield.
Well, great. Like Joe has said and Stephen has said, it's been a great collaborative effort. I want to thank Governor Jindal for making this a priority and putting us in a position to get together and do something quickly and do something significant. I also want to thank the board. This is a big step, and I think I really want to commend the community and technical college system. Louisiana needs you not only to take the responsibility to be the primary training entity or institution in the state, but you've embraced it. You've embraced it with passion. Joe's embraced it with passion. And this is a huge step for us. As we looked at the other states and their workforce development systems and their plans and how they were addressing their challenges, we aren't the only state with the challenge. But I think one of the things that really concerned me, if you look at education and you look at the community and technical college system, we're a bit behind the other states out there and where we need to be, but we've made a tremendous amount of progress in the last 9 years. And I think this, the one-day guarantee, certainly puts your money where your mouth is. You're saying we're going to get the job done. And I think the alignment of funding, which the governor alluded to earlier, is going to be another big step to take these institutions forward. So I appreciate all your support. I appreciate your support, Dr. May, and certainly you, Governor. There's Stephen and T.Joe and everyone else have been a tremendous support. And there's many other players within the cabinet that have been big supporters here. So I appreciate all the efforts everyone's put in. Look forward to continue to work with y'all and continue to address these problems.
Mr. Secretary, thank you very much. You know, I've been fortunate to, I've been in the state a year, and during that time I've had the great privilege of working with some outstanding leaders who have had a vision for a long time, and certainly one of the people key, if you go back and look at the very creation of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System, Commissioner Joe Savoy was there. He's looked over the development, watched the growth, assisted with the process, and throughout that is clear to me has been a real advocate of this system and certainly the people of the state and having the opportunity. Of course, we all know that the commissioner is going to be stepping down from this role, and but continuing in his leadership role in higher education as he moves over to the University of Louisiana Lafayette. But it's a real pleasure to ask Commissioner Savoy if you'd say a few words today.
Thank you, Joe. And it's true, I was around at the inception, I think, of the system. Some people say the conception of the system, but I'm going to deny any paternity responsibilities. The governor was also in Governor Foster's cabinet at that time, and I remember the conversations that we had about trying to create a system focused on workforce and focused on greater opportunity for people. And it's really just so impressive, the tremendous growth and evolution that this system has undertaken in the last less than a decade. I'm not sure that we thought that we could get this far in this short a period of time. So the governor's been committed since the beginning, and I think his focus now, making sure that you have the resources, making sure that you have the programs, making sure that you have the facilities that are necessary, making sure that his cabinet is engaged in the process, is a continuation of his initial commitment over a decade or so ago, and he's going to bring it to the next level. I'm very impressed with the leadership Dr. May has shown to this system. We've been lucky to have good leaders, pretty good leaders sometimes in the system, but he came around at the right time, taking us to the next level, and the board has demonstrated the kind of commitment and leadership and support that's necessary, so I want to commend the board as well. I really, though, want to commend everyone in the audience, the faculty, the teachers, the administrators, the people who are working on the ground, making these things happen. We've put you through quite a lot in the last decade. It's not been steady state, it's been change, 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 push, 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 and you've responded, and we've ended up with a world-class system of community technical colleges in our state. It's primarily because of you. We could develop policy, we put resources, but if you don't use it right, you don't have the right attitude about getting things done, none of it happens. So all of you are to be commended and congratulated. It's been a wonderful pleasure to work with all of you over the years, and I look forward to continuing that relationship with my new partner at South Louisiana Community College. We're going to set the model for everybody else to follow. Thank you all for having me.
You know, as our board debated into the day one guarantee, of course, there was nothing but positive comments made about it. And I thought, as I listened to it, I said, you know, what this really does is it's really, in a way, honors our faculty and staff. They already know, and I know, and I'm so proud of them for the job that they do every single day, providing high-quality education. We're putting it out in public. We're saying to everyone what they do is of value, and we're backing it up with our words and deeds. So, Governor, again, thank you for your leadership. As I said, I wish I'd thought of it, but now that we've got it, I'll tell you what, this is not, by voting on improving today, this is the beginning. And moving forward. So we're excited to mark today as a beginning as we advance to continue to address the workforce needs of the state of Louisiana, and it's a pleasure to have all of you here today. Thank you. We're acknowledging a new policy adopted by the Board of Supervisors, which is a statewide board appointed by the governor that oversees all the colleges within the Louisiana Community and Technical College system. We're at 50 locations around the state. And the policy adopted is we call the Day One Guarantee. And this says that every graduate of one of our programs, from when they complete the program, will have the knowledge, skills, and ability from day one to go to work and be successful on the job. If they don't have those skills, we'll bring them back and we'll retrain them for free. No cost to the student and no cost to the employer.
And where did this concept come from?
You know, this is a great idea. I wish we had thought of it, but it came from our Governor, Bobby Jindal. If you go back and you look at his platform when he was running for governor, this was one of the items that he listed in there. And we looked at it and we studied and said, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. It's common sense that we should be standing behind not only our students but our faculty and staff and guaranteeing what we do. We provide high quality programs, they align with the workforce needs, and what we're doing is backing that with a guarantee.
And what are the thoughts from the business and industry on the Day One Guarantee policy?
Well, I'll tell you what, they've been very, very pleased with that, obviously. It says that what we do matters, that it matters to the employers, that we're going to align and work closely with business and industry, and we're going to ensure that our students have the skills. We can't do that in isolation today. We have to work collaboratively with the individuals that are hiring our students, and that's something we're committed to do in this process.